Okay, here we are again. We have sat down again for a smoke and a drink.
Hell yeah.
Feeling good about it. Today, we have the Perdomo ESV, which is short for Estate Selection Vintage. This is the Sun Grown version, Sun Grown wrapper. And with it, we have the Iron Root Promethean from Iron Root Republic Distilling.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning into the 2020 season of Cigars, Liquor, and More. As we join our buddies Bill
Howdy.
and our other brother Daryl
Smoke up, Johnny.
in the backyard speakeasy as they discover their thoughts on cigars, liquor, and anything else that comes to mind.
Okay.
I got a bit. I like that intro.
I
like
do too.
I like the music. I like the words.
I do. I like it. It works.
Yeah.
I believe it. It says what it needs to say without being too verbose. Well, leader and trailer. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, this Perdón is a Cuban seed Nicaraguan sun-grown wrapper. The Cuban seed Nicaraguan binder and filler. And the combination of wrapper, binder, and fillers in this blend offers robust flavors with rich, complex oak and cedar spiciness. MSRP is $12.
Are you not going to show the people?
No, I pre-recorded.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll work.
With it, we have the Iron Root Promethean from Iron Root Republic Distilling, which is all of an hour north of us.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have so many good distilleries.
Oh, we do.
This one is bottled at 100 proof, so this is one of the things I like. 80s, they're okay. 90s needs to be there. 100, that's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like cast strengths too. I've said it before. I'm a proof whore.
Oh, yeah.
I like 114. That's a really sweet spot. The 125 start to get a little high, but you know what? Leaves me room to dilute down to just the flavor I want.
Got that right.
I love that.
So you can personalize your own drink.
So I'm going to nose this and see if I get anything that they have. So on the nose, it says we've got tobacco and smoked figs.
I don't know what figs smell or taste
Well, I know
like.
it's figs smell and taste like, but I don't know that I smell that. Nope, can't do that. Nope, not for me. All right. Taste, candied prunes drizzled in dark chocolate with dusting of cayenne powder. I haven't tasted it yet. So the grains used in this is a red flint corn. I am totally not familiar with.
If you could call that hotness cayenne, I get it.
Okay. And then they do a non-GMO yellow corn and rye. MSRP is $43. So maybe some remember we had the Iron Root Harbinger.
Yeah.
Much earlier in the year, and it won Bourbon of the Year.
Yeah.
Or was it Whiskey of the Year or Bourbon of the Year? Bourbon of the Year. Bourbon of the Year, right? It's a bourbon. And I think its landmark.
Give me the line.
I think its landmark note is that it was the first time a non-Kentucky bourbon won overall best bourbon. Because what they've used to do is, well, not used to, up until all of this year, they would do best overall bourbon and then best non-Kentucky bourbon.
Yes.
And this year, they didn't have to do that.
They didn't have to do that. They were one and the same.
Yeah.
One and the same.
Woo, that's a landmark.
Texas coming up in the world. So, Randy from Bourbon Real Talk, he sent out a mosh pit of drinks to various folks, and in there were Texas whiskeys, and they rated high. I mean, it was a blind test, right? You got letters instead of what it was,
right?
And just a blind test, they rated really high.
Yeah.
The Iron Root, I think, is among the best of whiskeys, let alone Texas whiskeys.
My favorites,
and
just
Lone Elm is just
Yep.
so far.
Lone Elm, Balcones, Iron Root, they are easily my favorites right now. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Texas is doing it, man.
Yeah.
Doing it.
Yeah, they are.
And don't forget Giant.
Giant. Oh, I love Giant. Giant it's got that
love the
one
95
flavor note that I've never encountered.
The bready. The bready.
How bready it is. And I like it. I hope that's not a detractor. I hope they don't cringe when I say that. I love how bready it is.
No, well, we said that at the little pub crawl we were at, and
he was one of the distillers there too, wasn't he?
Yeah, and the guy's like, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So no, he wasn't afraid of that at all.
Man, this thing's full of flavor though. Wow.
So Promethean means related to or characteristic of the demigod Prometheus, especially in being rebelliously creative and innovative. And then if you want to know who Prometheus was a Titan who was chained and tortured by Zeus for stealing fire from the heavens and giving it to humans so that we could smoke stogies and cook meat.
Which is funny because wasn't it really Zeus that gave us lightning? And that's probably where we got fire. I mean, I think he was just blaming Prometheus for what he had done. Because, proper God doesn't take responsibility for anything.
No.
Zeus?
Especially the God of gods. I mean,
He's
come on.
the God of God, yeah. He's like, oh, what do you got over? Oh, the other gods. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so that's Greek mythology. I prefer Norse mythology. I like... they made some good movies out of them.
I like both.
But I like the Allfather. What's his name? I don't remember his name. I'm dying here. But he was the son of, or the father of Thor and Freya and all that.
Yeah, I think on the website they probably named it Promethean because that's what they were talking about. Yeah, a dark and brooding creative rebel is what they have on the back here.
Bada boom.
Where they have on the back, we're a family. Oh, they handwrite in which edition it is. This is P12, and this is 30 months aged. So they put an age statement on it, just not on the label because I guess it varies. So this is a 30-month. That's 2.5 years. That's not a lot. And the flavor this thing packs is amazeballs for 2.5 years.
It's got a lot of flavor in it.
Family-owned whiskey distillery that employs French brandy techniques using local and heirloom corns, which I assume is the red flint, to create distinctive whiskeys from scratch. Our philosophy is heavily influenced by the history of our town, where T.V. Munson famously saved the French wine industry from holy mackerel. Phylloxera?
He saved it from holy mackerel?
Phylloxera. Phylloxera, I think.
Sounds like a
using
spaceborne
Texas
disease.
iron grape roots forever linking cognac to Denison. I had no idea.
Huh.
Didn't know that.
Why? What's can I do this real time?
Yeah, so they're in Denison, Texas.
Yes, they are. Not that far from here.
No.
What spell that. Spell that word again.
It is PH.
Okay.
YLLOXERA. I had no idea that we in
a
Denison.
Plant louse that is a pest of vines.
Ah.
There
and
we
so
go.
I guess that
learning definitions of things from liquor bottles. Gotta love it.
I think I'm already liking this combo. So I've had the SV several times before. Mm-hmm. We bought a box of them when
at the Perdomo event,
where Nick himself shook
Nick,
our hand and said,
"So nice,
good cigar." Actually,
such a nice guy.
I asked him what I should buy. I'm like, "Will you make a suggestion?"
I didn't do that. He asked me, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want a box of these."
So this is already going very well together. I like these two. So the cigar, this is a powerful flavor. This is a very strong flavored liquor.
Yes, it is.
And this is a medium-bodied cigar, but the Sun Grown I think adds more to it than the Connecticut would. I think the Connecticut would be too weak. I'll try it again with the Maduro because I'm Maduro.
Yeah, you're a Maduro fan.
I'm a Maduro fan.
Yeah.
So, but we'll let more know later. That's so on the Iron Root though. I didn't smell figs on the nose. I think I know what they're talking about in the taste, but they say it's candied prunes. And I'd say that's where I taste the figs. I taste the figs. I didn't smell the figs. I think I taste the figs. I'm not getting any dark chocolate.
I just took a picture of myself, and I don't look right in the head.
No, that should be deleted immediately.
Or go on the website because it's horrible.
Cringeworthy.
Wow.
So
wow.
The ESV is a pretty light draw. I mean, not so light that it bothers me, because, it can get a little bothersome if it's too light.
Mine's not that light of a draw.
This is a good draw. I like it.
I like this stick.
Yeah.
I really do. I like it because, it's not packed full of flavors. Right, it's got pretty much one note, and it stays all the way through. But what I like about it is its lack of massive complexity. I like that it's a very enjoyable flavor, and I don't necessarily have to think about it to enjoy everything. The company I'm with, the time that we're having, or the stick itself.
Yeah,
and this flavor has, I would say, would go with practically any liquor. It's just, I think it would mesh well with just about anything.
It's good, solid medium. It's not a wimpy stick. It's not a super bold stick. The retrohale is easy. There's no harsh pepper or anything in there to make you go, right? It's just really smooth.
I like this stick a lot.
I'm going to reserve a little more tasting notes though till we get a little more into it.
Yeah.
I don't want to skip too far ahead because we've smoked it before many times. So, but I do really like the Promethean. I've not had a lot of the Promethean yet. This is the first bottle I picked up.
It's flavorful.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Nookin.
And this one was the 100 proof, right?
Yes.
See, I was paying attention.
Hey, that's right. You never do. That's new.
I'm trying to get better. And, listening is half of a conversation.
That's what I hear.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, and, it's something I need to improve on because I'm...
we all do.
Generally when you're going through, what we're smoking and what we're drinking, I'm thinking about other stuff and I'm not necessarily paying attention to what it is that you say. And if I don't want to, there I go.
Stop swinging your hands around.
5 shows I hadn't hit the mic. Now I hit the mic. And it's really kind of annoying to go, what did he say? I should pay more attention when you're doing that stuff so I don't have to refer to the notes later.
Maybe we're getting into like a meeting mode where you just wait till you hear your name before you listen.
God, isn't that so true? I'm going to check out until someone says my name.
I've got work to do.
And then they say, yeah, Bill, what do you think about that? Could you rephrase that, please? I don't think you were talking loud enough.
Could you repeat that in a sentence?
Could you phrase that in the form of a question?
What's up? It is a pretty smoky cigar. If you like a billowy smoke, this guy produces it.
It puts them out, but it's not. Yeah. It's not an overly heavy smoke.
It's voluminous though.
From the lights, it's got almost kind of a blue tinge to it.
It does.
It's really kind of cool. Anyway, I don't know that everybody's going to be able to see that.
Yeah, maybe that's the copper.
So, the band. One of the interesting things about cigars in the circa
bands.
2020s is the shininess that a lot of cigar bands is taking on.
Metallic has become very popular lately. It's almost like gray in a kitchen.
It can be difficult to take pictures of such things.
Yeah.
So, when you're trying to take a picture to put on a website or Instagram or something like that, it gets a bit difficult or tricky to do with the overly reflective bands. But overall, I really like it. And it's not cheap to do reflective.
No,
or iridescent or any of that.
Know.
So it adds a little extra pop,
and it's embossed. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is not an inexpensive band either.
No,
it's very nice.
No,
it's embossed in many places.
I'm
not
very
just
proud of you for saying band and not rapper.
I know, me too. I went out of my way.
You thought about it before you said it. That's why you paused a moment.
It is. It's almost like you were listening.
Shocker! So something that came through my email, came to me via email.
Sure, let's go with that.
Whatever the phrasing is. And Uber is selling their self-drive portion of their business.
They're giving up, huh? You hit one person.
Not they're not necessarily giving up because I think it's a chief technology officer is going to be on the board, and they're investing millions of dollars along with this. So I mean, they're one of the reasons Uber got into the self-driving business was because that's a way of cutting costs.
Oh yeah,
in the long run, it's a way of cutting costs because you don't have to pay somebody.
And then you don't have to argue about whether or not they're an employee.
Yeah, that too. So Uber is selling its. I did not put down the source of this article.
That's all right.
I hate it when I do that. So Uber is selling its driverless car subsidiary to startup Aurora Technologies.
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
Abandoning a unit that Uber's founder once hailed as critical to the future of the firm. So
recently
Uber,
critical.
Yeah. Uber will invest $400 million in the Amazon-backed company and getting a 26% stake. Chief Executive Dara, I'm going to mess this up, and I apologize in advance. Krozowski?
Gotcha.
Washi? I'm terribly sorry. I'm bad.
All right.
Will also serve as on Aurora's board following the closure of the deal. So for Uber, this is going to help their profitability a little bit, especially after having a crash. But yeah, the deal with Aurora. This is another quote from the article. The deal with Aurora values Uber's advanced technology group at roughly $4 billion, down from $7.5 billion it was estimated at last year.
Oof.
It is expected to be completed in the first 3 months of 2021. Aurora, led by veterans of driverless car efforts at Google and Uber, says it has previously received significant investment from Amazon, which is known to be exploring the possibilities of driverless delivery vehicles. And South Korean car maker Hyundai has also backed Aurora. And Aurora has 4 offices in the U.S. I love being able to throw paper around. That's why I like to print paper.
You like to throw it off to the side.
So with that article, I kind of went down a rabbit hole of automated driving vehicles.
Oh, we know we love it so much. But it will kind of be the death of an enormous number of jobs. Enormous.
Yeah.
Every truck driver,
and
every Uber driver, every cab driver.
A couple of countries have made regulations limiting the use of automated driving vehicles, specifically citing job loss.
Which, I mean, I understand, but we just need to find people other jobs. Protecting a job has never been wisdom. You go all the way back to,
Careful. A lot of unions out there.
I know, but you go all the way back to, the destruction of the looms because they were going to ruin the clothing industry. And, well, you know what? You move on. Everybody's just got to move on. You just got to move on. When automation comes and takes a job, go find another job. You just got to find another job.
So I had not heard of Aurora Technologies.
I hadn't either. So
I looked up the main guy. The main guy is Chris Urmson.
With a U.
And guy's quite fascinating.
Really?
Despite the fact that he's Canadian. So he got his BS from the University of Manitoba and got his PhD at Carnegie Mellon University.
Good place.
Come on, read ahead, somewhere in there. Yeah, so while earning his PhD in robotics at Carnegie Mellon University, and this is from Wikipedia, Urmson's technology leadership was critical in the development of his team's robotic vehicles that participated in the DARPA Grand Challenge in 2004-2005 and the Urban Challenge in 2007. I don't know if you remember those, but I remember
them having.
I remember both. I remember the 2004-2005.
Really?
The 2007, I don't remember. But what I remember about 2004-2005 was the Humvees that they used.
Oh, okay.
And he was one of the original leaders of Google's self-driving car project, which has been spun off into Waymo, W-A-Y-M-O.
Oh, I've heard of that.
When they split into Alphabet,
yeah,
Google went under Alphabet, and Waymo is under Alphabet as well. So this guy has been kind of in the 2000s, starting in the 2000s era. This guy has kind of been, right there as far as self-drivers go,
and robotics in general.
So the DARPA challenge in 2004, while they weren't a winner. They had Sandstorm and Highlander. Highlander is spelled H1GH for Hummer, H1 Hummer. He led the team at Google. He served as the Chief Technology Officer of X, which became Google's self-driving team. He started Aurora and with a couple of other folks, and Uber has now sold. I mean, that's yesterday. Yesterday was the announcement for that. What is interesting about Aurora is that it is dedicated to driverless car software, data, and hardware, but not the cars themselves.
Right, because that's where the money is in licensing of the software.
As Microsoft found out.
Which is what I also said about Elon Musk, is he doesn't make cars. He makes batteries and software to drive cars.
Yes.
That's what he makes. He makes money.
So Urmson, under the company Aurora, aims to apply machine learning to the motion planning and perception components of autonomy simultaneously. So you have machine learning and planning all together.
Well, I mean, yeah, it has to be, right? Planning is learning.
It's not reaction.
Right.
It's thinking ahead.
Right.
So when you have somebody bicycling down the street, what's that bicyclist most likely to do?
Right.
So thinking ahead.
Well, I think...
Which is what you have to do as a driver.
We mentioned it earlier, and, actually, why don't we, since we're into the cigar, why don't we talk about the cigar and take a break? So, nice, easy draw, great flavor. Like you said, single flavor, kind of. But there's like spices in it that make it not boring. So it's not like, it's just wood.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's not boring at all. But it's it's a kind of a melding of flavors, but it's pretty much that flavor all the way through.
Yes, yeah. And it's really nice. It's really smooth. And I really like it. So I'm trying to describe it. It's almost a vanilla. It's almost got a vanilla flavor. It's very mellow. It's not approaching cocoa, but it's like a vanilla in that kind of area. It's like a baking flavor, and I really do like it.
It's a good stick. It's a good stick, and this Promethean, just
very easy retro too. No pepper. Just you get more of that same spice and seasoning. That's just really nice. This is a really good stick. Probably my favorite stick since the champagne.
And we know you like the champagne, which luckily they kept.
Yes, they got rid of the noir, but they kept the champagne. Thank God. All right, we'll be right back after a brief moment.
Bada boom.
Enjoy the any time of the day cigar. Drunk Chicken cigars are nub-alicious. So good you'll smoke it to a nub. You can get 10% off your order at drunkchickencigars.com by using the promo code CLM2020.
All right, here we are, back again.
I keep losing my ears.
But I really love the flavor of the cigar. It's going great. And the Promethean is wonderful. It is a lot of flavor. It can shock the palate initially, but if you mix a little water in your mouth when you take that first hit, then it kind of like will warm you up, and then it won't be like the shock. Like this will happen with scotches a lot.
No pow to it.
Yeah. This will happen with scotches a lot. They're so packed with flavor that first one will kind of shock you a little bit. You throw a little water in your mouth first, so you're not diluting your glass, and then throw a little in there. You get a little bit different taste, but it warms you up.
Good safety tip, Egon.
Yeah, I actually, to be fair, I got that from one of the reps from Sazerac.
No, it's a really good tip. Pro tip.
All right, so where we were, I remember they were talking about auto
I'm going to
driving.
Interrupt. And the secondary ban, not on the foot.
Yes, not on the foot. That's nice. We were talking in a previous episode about auto drivers, and a driver was saying, yeah, well, when you're going through some of these country roads, he was a delivery person for Amazon, and when you're going through country roads, you as a driver know over this next hill, there are often cow in the road because they get out and you got to watch it coming over that hill. So you got to be ready to brake when you come over the hill. Now, a person's going to react a little slower than the electronics will. But the point remains, that's the kind of learning that you were just now talking about, predictive learning. Like, hey, on this road, I have encountered this before. This could be there again, right?
Yes.
And so it's not just detect and react. It's learn like a person would learn, right? And that's the AI that you're talking about coming into that.
Yeah, situational as well as what's right in front of you.
Right. It's funny because we specifically talked about it in the previous episode.
I've got so much paper here. It's just so much information on self-driving vehicles that it's just crazy. That part I think I cut out and saved it for a later episode.
Okay.
I'll mention it briefly, but yeah. So some companies have found out that specifically animals, predicting for animals, noticing animals, can be
maybe
difficult.
Deer, for instance.
So yeah, deer or elk. The software that responds great to those will completely ignore a kangaroo.
Well, maybe you make some locational modifications, because I'm probably not going to run into many kangaroos.
Yes, but as a software designer, you have to account for that.
Everything. Right?
Yeah.
But you know what? Just like phones, initially, U.S. phones didn't work in Europe, because Europe had a different band. And, so maybe you have software for Europe, you have software for, I don't know,
Australia.
But you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Are you on a continent where everything's trying to kill you? Yes.
Yes. Yes. Oh, you're going to need Software Plus. But I mean, that could be part of the point, is maybe you do have some regional software upgrades, just like mapping, just like our phones were for regions. Maybe we do that with software for a while too.
So you've got certain challenges that comes from having a group of coders write all this software to try to develop things, and then real world situations where you wonder what the world is it going to do when it comes across that.
Right.
Because
people are froggy too. I think it's
it's difficult
cities
to plan for
hard.
everything. Urban environments are the toughest situations for driverless vehicles, and they've said that in these articles. And that's where the accidents are going to happen.
What the good news is, those are much more likely to be very low speed accidents. When you're stuck in traffic and people are all over you, and you're only doing 10 miles an hour, it's a lot easier to stop. Right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
The reaction time of these vehicles is going to be an order of magnitude better than ours.
But you're talking about taking everything that so as humans we learn things through going through life that we apply to other things, situations that we have never been into before. So we take our past and we use it to help us in the present.
But we're not supposed to. That's called prejudice. You're prejudging. That's not right.
But everything.
But you have to teach cards to be prejudiced.
Everything has a language, right?
Yeah.
A car. You can kind of tell what somebody's going to do in a car before they do it.
I'll give you this. I've said that before to a lot of people. Cars have body language.
Yes.
Because there's people like, I'm looking at a car going, I don't like the way they're acting.
That car's froggy.
Yeah, car's froggy.
Yeah.
I've changed lanes and gone, oh, glad I did that.
Yeah.
I would have been in an accident just now if I hadn't.
Yeah, and you have to but you're talking about some coders that are sitting in a room that have to account for things like that. So there's a lot.
Well, when all the
to
cars
go
drive themselves, they'll be a lot less froggy.
But true enough.
And they'll tell each other when they're going to move.
And that's one of the technological hurdles that you got to get around is what happens
integrating with
if you lose communication between the cars.
Yes.
Right? Because they're just radio waves.
Right.
Anything can interrupt a radio wave. It can be completely unintentional. What are you going to do? So there has to be a component of I need to take care of my sphere as well as communicate with all those around me. It's an incredible hurdle technologically to get past, or coding wise to get past. Now
get there.
AI is going to give us an advantage in that we let the computer make the decision.
Yes, and set the INI file. Okay. For those too young to know what an INI file is, this was a completely separate settings file for the program that ran. Instead of being integrated with the program, you could set the file. You could set settings in the file. Now it's a little button that says settings, and it's integrated. But it used to be a file that was the settings.
Yeah.
But come on, INI. Everybody knows what
initialization file.
I know what everybody... you should know what an INI file is, even if you're young. Just ironically, you should at least know it.
Yeah, no, but they don't.
I bet they do. Well, the geeks do.
The geeks do, yes.
I got a nickel says a good quarter of our audience, half our audience is our age. A quarter of our audience are geeks who are much younger, who just started smoking, and are mainly listening to us because we're geeks.
Well, we really are. But geeks own the world.
They do now. They do now. Yep.
I find AI fascinating and scary at the same time. So Oracle's a database system, right? Or most people know the Oracle database system. I have often equated Oracle to AI before AI was really a thing. Because Oracle will make decisions on how to best run things. If you don't if you don't tell it a set way of doing it, it'll kind of make its own decision. It will use past runs to help better itself, which is what you expect out of AI. Yeah. And I've been in meetings with Oracle where they're like, yeah, we don't know why it chose to do that.
Which is exactly what we're saying about AI now.
Yes.
It did that, and we don't know why.
Yeah, we don't know why.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a big problem, is that the AI is going to make leaps and bounds progress, and we're not going to know why.
Yes.
We're going to know what it made its decisions based on. And honestly, that's some of the transparency that we talk about in our own systems, right? We talk about like college admissions. How did you decide to admit that person?
Yes.
And that was biased, and that was prejudiced. And AI will have bias and prejudices that we won't even see or know because we don't know how it made its decision. Yep. And I have a feeling that legal argument will be something that fights AI, be the biggest fight AI has. Will be, how did you make that decision? And the AI won't be able to tell you. Well, it'll understand, but it won't know how to communicate that to us.
Well, the thing is, there's so much that goes into it making an individual decision.
But we're going to be required to program it so that it tells us how it made a decision.
Well, we can't do that now.
Well, we should be able to do that.
We can't do that now. And what happens? It's the Schrodinger's cat of the computing world.
Right.
If you have it to where you can look at it and see why it's making a decision, does that affect
the decision?
That decision and future decisions
That'd be a great
it's going to make.
We won't know that, will we?
And it's a problem because we know that they can make correct decisions a large amount of the time.
Yeah. But correct for whom?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where the bias comes in. That's where you get concerned of what's with, this AI was programmed by 4 white guys. 4 white, male, cisgendered, and then it becomes, what did you put in there? And then they go, I don't know what I put in there. I told it to teach itself. And then they go, well, what did it teach itself? What did you do?
Wait a minute. That's going to be a thing. Cisgendered is heterosexual, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Always learning.
I've heard the term, and it was explained to me once, and I had to. I needed a refresher.
I know it sounds funny, but the juxtapositioning of the term cis and trans actually makes sense to a chemist. Let me explain why.
Please do.
So if you have a double bonded carbon, it no longer rotates in space. It becomes basically a flat...
Wait a minute. I need more liquor for this.
It becomes a flat molecule. So like...
I need more Promethean for this.
So like C2H4 would be your most simple cis versus trans example.
Ooh, I got a joke for that.
Oh, no.
Charlie was a chemist, but Charlie is no more. What Charlie thought was H2O was H2SO4.
Yeah, he shouldn't have drank that. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said C2H4. Like a Cl2H2C2. So,
sure, yeah, because I knew the difference.
If you so when you have a double bond, it no longer rotates in space. So it now looks like it's now married. It looks like a person lying on the ground ready to make a snow angel. Okay, nice. Arms and legs are the bonds that come off the carbons, and your torso would be a double bonded carbon. Okay. Now, if your right arm is chlorine and your left leg is chlorine, and the other two are hydrogens, then that is a trans position. If the chlorine is on your right arm and your right leg, then that's a cis position. Okay, so cis and trans are basically descriptions of where that is in space, but they're also kind of opposite sides of each other, right? Like cis and trans.
Interesting.
So cis, I don't think that was their goal, was to say cisgender would be same side versus opposite side.
Somebody had to come up with the term.
I don't know. It probably wasn't a chemist.
Maybe it was somebody taking a chemistry class?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Probably not. I'm sure if we Google it, we'll find out the real origin, and we'll go, yeah, it's totally not related to chemistry.
It's probably not as fun either.
No. Anyway.
Well, but...
I'm a chemist.
Yes, Daryl is a chemist. By education.
Not by practice.
Not by vocation.
Not one day. Well, okay, I was for a year. I was a chemist for a year.
Not by vocation.
Well, just not including school. I actually did work in industry as a chemist for 1 year. When I did the mercury testing.
Oh, yeah.
I did the environmental.
Who doesn't want to play with mercury?
No, I didn't play with mercury. I was detecting it at parts per billion levels.
Oh, you should have played with mercury.
No, well, I did as a kid.
We did in high school.
That could explain a lot.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Yeah, maybe we need to have a show of all those affected negatively by mercury.
Mercury poisoning?
The best thermostats in the world were mercury thermostats.
Yeah,
the best thermometers in the world were mercury thermometers.
Because you could break it and then play with the mercury.
Yeah. So I went to a community college in Fort Worth, Tarrant County Community College at the time. They changed it to Tarrant County College or something like that. Anyway, the particular campus I went to was the campus, right? Because it was the modern campus.
Oh,
and it had one wing that was a chemistry wing of sorts, and somebody broke a mercury thermometer, which I've done many times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they acted like it was a hazmat situation.
Oh yeah, they evacuated the building.
Yeah.
Like, you want me to leave because somebody broke a mercury thermometer?
Yes.
Let's go clean it up and do cool things with it.
That's where we've gotten.
That's crazy.
So the biggest amount of mercury I've ever seen in my life, it was an entire apparatus that contained probably a liter of mercury.
Nice.
An enormous amount of mercury.
Nice.
And it was on a vacuum system that was supposed to measure low pressures, and you vacuumed on one side and the mercury would, be pulled through the system and balance out, and you could measure how many millimeters of mercury the pressure was. And then you would add gas to the vacuum side, and then you would know how much gas was in the sample you wanted because of how much pressure was added to the system in very small and very measurable amounts.
Millimeters of mercury is the exact measurement of pressure.
Yes, it is. It is. 760 torr, for instance, is 760 millimeters of mercury. So they set us free in the lab to conduct an experiment, which included measuring out a very small amount of gas for a test we wanted to do. And when a particular individual in my class was their turn to meter out the gas, I said, I'm leaving, because I knew this individual was dangerous. And what this individual did... Is
this the idiot savant?
Yes. No, idiot genius.
Idiot genius.
Yeah, the 4.0 who I would never trust with anything in my life.
Who tried to light water on fire.
Who tried to light water, yes. So I left, and it was not more than 5 minutes later, I got word that we were all evacuating the building. And I, of course, looked in. And what had happened was they had opened the gas to far higher pressure than they should have. And it
spewed mercury.
It was a mercury fountain.
That's fabulous.
There was at least, I don't know.
And that wasn't in the day of cell phones where people could video it readily.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah. Well, there was an enormous amount of mercury on the floor and everywhere.
Awesome.
Everywhere.
It'd have been awesome.
Yeah. It was funny.
No, we had a chemistry teacher that had a flask, one of the big wide flasks. It was about a half a liter of mercury, and we would take that and put that in different apparatus and apply pressure to it. And it even try to get things to sink in it.
Good luck with that.
So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
That was the only fun thing about that chemistry class.
It's funny. So you can buy replacement. So on your mercury thermostat, there was a bimetal, which would be your temperature indicator. And that would flex. It was in a coil, and it would flex to raise and lower the temperature indicator. And on it was usually a little mercury switch. And when it got to a certain level that you had set, the mercury would tip one way, connect the circuit because it conducts electricity, and turn on your air conditioner or heater.
Yep.
And I actually have one of those.
System, by the way.
That was a great system. I have one of those replacement bulbs that is basically a mercury switch. I have, and it probably, in holding it in my hand, I'd say there's probably 10 to 15 grams of mercury in it. And I'm pretty sure that little bulb alone would make my house a hazmat zone.
Yes.
Today, if I broke it.
Which is crazy. It's just, we know mercury is bad. If it's absorbed, we know it's bad. But come on.
Don't put DSMO on your skin just before you put mercury. How about that?
Or aspirin.
DSMO is dimethyl sulfoxide, and it's used a lot with horses. You put a liniment in the DMSO, and DMSO allows whatever is dissolved in it. And by the way, it's a phenomenal dissolver of things. It's a great solvent. Lets whatever is dissolved in it pass through your skin, which is why it's dangerous and awesome all at the same time.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Aspirin does the same thing. So you can take aspirin, powderize it, make a semi paste out of it because it doesn't dissolve well. Mix something else in it and put it on your skin.
Yeah.
And it'll go through, but whatever is in that will also go through. So you got to be careful.
Relieves pain.
Yeah.
If you apply it in the proper way.
Yeah.
Which is what they do with horses. I assume they use gloves when they apply the liniment to the horses.
Yeah, I would hope so. And pain patches. Pain patches is much the same.
And they use DMSO still to this day because it's an awesome solvent. And it's cheap and readily available. That's the irony. If you go to
So speaking of, I'm going to change the subject. So going back to aspirin. Do you ever use BC powder or anything of the like?
No, I've never used it. I've seen it. I've heard it's good, but I don't use it.
So I have a problem swallowing pills. So BC powder.
Does your wife have to
excellent
hide
for
it
me.
in peanut butter?
In peanut butter and chocolate and all that? No, that doesn't work.
You eat the peanut butter and spit it out?
Pretty much. But BC powder is great because you put it on your tongue, take a swig.
Put it under your tongue.
And I put it on my tongue and just force the water straight down, and it goes down with it.
Oh. If you put it under your tongue, things absorb much better under your tongue. A lot of meds are absorbed under your tongue. You put it under your tongue.
Yeah, but if you...
BC powder tastes like hell, right?
When I put it under my tongue, I got little grit pieces all over my mouth after that.
Wasn't it insanely bitter as well?
Well, it's aspirin. It doesn't taste good.
Yeah, it's insanely bitter, right?
But you've got not only aspirin, but you've now got Excedrin-like stuff. So
yeah,
Excedrin,
there you go. Plus caffeine.
Excedrin is acetaminophen, caffeine, and Tylenol. Right? So you take the aspirin, acetaminophen, and caffeine, crunch it into a powder, and boom, good stuff. But, I mean, just even straight aspirin, miracle drug.
Yeah, good stuff.
For years.
Yeah, we don't really use it anymore, though, do we?
No.
A lot of people don't take it.
I do.
I haven't taken it in a while.
But if you're going for a hangover, get rid of a hangover.
Oh,
You want the acetaminophen, the caffeine, and the aspirin.
Because nobody goes for a hangover. They're like, I'm trying to get a hangover. So I say dissolve that mixture in Pedialyte.
Vasodilator. Is that the right term?
Yeah, but I don't think those three things are vasodilators.
They open up the blood vessels.
Are they?
Stuff. Yeah. Ask your wife.
Yeah, she probably knows, yeah.
Probably knows. I bet she does know.
I bet you crush up that and put BC powder and Excedrin in a glass of Pedialyte. That'd probably be really good for a hangover.
Pedialyte.
Yeah, Pedialyte's good stuff. You know Pedialyte, right? It's for kids. It's basically, I don't know, sugar water with salts. I mean, it is the better version of Gatorade. That's what it is. You put that. I bet that would work good.
I'll have to try that eventually.
Yeah, if I only got hangovers.
Maybe when I'm 70.
It is nice not getting hangovers.
I still get them. So I didn't get hangovers till I was 28.
Really?
Yeah, when I was 28, they started putting hangover in the liquor. But if you do it right, then it doesn't happen.
See, I was the opposite. I got hangovers when I was young because I drank garbage, and now that I drink other things that aren't garbage,
don't drink garbage.
I don't get hangovers anymore. Like even when I way overdo it, like my birthday party, New Year's, I don't get them. I get dry sinuses, I neti pot, and then the pain is gone. And it's hilarious because I love rubbing that into people who really hate the fact that I don't get hangovers. They're like, oh, I was out for half a day. I'm like, yeah, I was out for half an hour.
Yeah.
Nan or nan.
All right, man.
Let's wrap this.
Let's wrap it up.
This is a great cigar, man, dude. A must buy.
Definitely.
Must buy. I would go Promethean in the same camp. Oh my God.
Yes.
So much flavor, and in 30 months.
Now, I wouldn't say this is a primo pairing, but you definitely got to have some of that. You definitely have to have this cigar.
$43? You know how many do not provide this kind of flavor at higher prices?
I feel better.
Heck yeah.